we open the gate. Yeah, so we just ended back into New South Wales. On the New South Wales side, it is a national park. This is the Sturt National Park. Yeah, just pretty much encompasses all the corner country of New South Wales, really, up down into Tibooburra. So we'll be on this road for about 140 kilometres till we hit Tibooburra. So we've made it to Tibooburra for lunch today. Tibooburra is in the far northwest corner of New South Wales, about 1300 k's from Sydney as the crow flies, and a fair bit further by road if you happen to drive out here. About 150 people live here. So it was opened up initially to people because they came out here in search of gold. There was a few nuggets of gold found around, but by the late 1890s not too many people were out here prospecting. Became sort of known as a bit of a town for poor men's gold mining, really. But yeah, the interesting thing about the town, there's a little park here at the far northern end of it. It's got a few pieces of machinery like this that were used back in the early days when they opened up the land for pastoralists. But the main thing is this boat. Okay, so this boat here is a replica of a boat that Charles Sturt, when he came out through here with his expedition in the 1840s, dragged with him, because in his mind there had to be an inland sea, a great inland sea in Australia, and he believed it ran off the Darling River. So this boat here it was a whaling boat, and I mean it's big, like it's probably at least sort of 10 metres long, and you can imagine how heavy it would have been, and they used horses and carts to drag it across, and they finally abandoned it a bit south of here, down near Milparinka, which is the direction we'll be headed after we leave here. And so, yeah, someone was commissioned to rebuild a replica of it, and it stands here in this park in Tibooburra. So the park's well worth having a little stop by. There's other pieces of machinery here, and it also explains about the gas line that runs from Moomba down to Sydney. So yeah, stop in here if you're coming by. You can't miss it. It's at the far northern end of Tibooburra. What are you doing, you silly dog? Look at you, playing dead all the time, aren't you, eh? Yeah, we've just driven down from Broken Hill to Menindee Lakes. We're going to spend the next week down here. Just need a place to really pull up and just chill out for a little bit. And Menindee Lakes is a very spectacular place. I come down here in 2006 when I was cruising around on my own. Lakes were bone dry then, but now they are pretty much chock-a-block. So yeah, I reckon a good week sitting down here, just chilling out by the water. Should be pretty good for us. Meant to be a little bit of rain tomorrow, but other than that, temperatures are looking pretty good, weather's looking really good, and it's only going to get warmer the longer we're here. So yeah, hopefully we can take advantage and go for a bit of a swim. And yeah, we're going to sit by some campfires, cook some good food, and just chill out for a week. So there's a bunch of camping spots all along the lakes here. They're all free, which is pretty good, but we're just trying to find a real good one which would be awesome for our solar. If we're going to be pulled up here for a week, we need to make sure we get plenty of sun just to keep the solar ticking over nicely. So yeah, we've been up and down and all around so far. But yeah, we're trying to decide on best place to stay. Alright guys, yeah, we found a nice spot here at Menindee Lakes. Yeah, see the caravan set up behind us here, and swing her around, and that's our view. So yeah, this is going to be a great spot for a week, I reckon. Have our little campfire just here in the evening, cook on the hot plate, and we should get some pretty nice sunsets over the lakes, I reckon. A little bit cloudy this Savo, expecting maybe a little bit of rain tomorrow, but for the main part of the rest of the week we are looking pretty good. Not sure we're going to go swimming though. Water isn't looking that inviting, it's pretty murky. Talking about a fair bit of green algae in there at the moment too. Although there are people fishing further along, but there's camping spots all the way along here to both sides of where we're camping. So it's just a matter of finding your spot and yeah, being happy with it. So yeah, we've got a nice little sandy beach, and that's going to be us for the week. We haven't done much since we got to Menindee. Last couple of days we've just been really chilling out beside the lakes. Yeah, just catching up on a bit of admin and yeah, just taking it easy after a hectic 3 weeks of being fairly hardcore on the road. It's been very, very pleasant just to do nothing. But we've got out this afternoon. We've come down to a part of the lakes which has got the main weir. So you can see in the background here, this is the main weir that controls the flow of the water from the lakes into the Darling River. The lakes were modified back in the 1950s and 60s so they could keep a constant supply of water, and they control basically the flow that goes into the Darling and the Murray River system now. Yeah, quite pleasant, beautiful little spots, lots of bird life going around. Yeah, we're just enjoying our time down here at the lakes and doing as little as possible, really. So I figured while we're staying here at Menindee Lakes and we've been here for a few days, finally get a chance to break out the camp oven. So we're going to have a good camp oven feed tonight. Vicky picked up a nice piece of beef which is marinated in some red wine and onion. So yeah, it should be quite nice. got the fire already cranking over here. Not saying that I'm any great chef or anything like that, but I do know how to do a pretty decent carb oven. So yeah, we're going to have a nice sort of baked feed tonight. Alright, so usually what I do is just, once you give your camp oven a good clean, whack a couple of tablespoons of oil in her, and wait till she heats up a bit, and then in she goes. Oh yeah, that's what you want to hear. Yep. We're in there already. Give her a nice little sort of mix the oil around a bit with her. Bubbling away nicely there already. Yeah, so we don't want to cook her too quickly, so it's just a matter of monitoring it, putting a bit of coal on top of the lid now, and hopefully she'll seal with a nice heat. And we'll just keep checking on it every half an hour just to make sure that she's cooking along nicely. Alright, check that out. Cooking pretty nicely. So we're about to put some spuds and carrots in there, a little bit of onion. Should be quite good. Alright, we're checking that in a good hour or so, and hopefully she should be cooked perfectly. Well, it looks like the beef is pretty much cooked absolutely spot on. Looking beautiful. It's a bit of a messy table in front, but that's how the feed's looking out. Looks pretty bloody good. Alright Vic, what was the verdict on the meal?
Bloody awesome. That was very, very tasty.
Very sweet. There we go. Empty plates to prove it. Absolutely beautiful. So I've got to pull the camp oven out a bit more actually. So we'll hopefully get more of a chance to do it in the future. Yeah, so this morning I've driven down into Menindee to where the national park is, Kinchega National Park. We've been camping up, although it's part of the Menindee Lakes, it is where most people go and camp, because you can bring your dogs down there, you can have fires, no worries. If you need to cut up a bit of firewood, you can do all that type of stuff. Down here in the national park, it's obviously a little bit more restricted, and the main thing I wanted to do here today was the river drive, just following the Darling River. I'm pretty sure I camped along here in 2006, and hopefully a few little things will trigger my memory from where I stayed and a couple of the markings. And there's a beautiful old woolshed out here as well, so we couldn't bring the dog down here, so Vicky stayed back at camp, and yeah, she'll look after Buff for the time being, and I'll have the pleasure of driving around the national park. So I just found a good spot to pull up beside the river. Got a fair bit of water in at the moment, which is good to see. I have had times where I've come down along the Darling over the last 25-30 years when I've travelled out the bush, and no joke, like, she's just had water holes in it in some places. So when it's like this, it is really, really good to see. You can camp in various different places along the river here inside the national park. It costs $8 per vehicle, but as I mentioned, we've got a dog, so we can't, we're not allowed to camp in here, unfortunately. But yeah, I think with a great view like this, if you don't have a dog, this is the way to go. Camp inside the national park and just explore what the park's got on offer. What I reckon makes the drive along the Darling River so special are seeing these river red gums, and they've just got this incredible root system that makes them hang on to the banks of the river, and like the really big ones, they're like hundreds and hundreds of years old. They've been here for so long. Now you can see the girth on the trunk of this one over here, and the root system on this one over here, they just hang on for dear life, because during times of when the water's really rushing down here, you can imagine how much sediment and how much dirt and how much of the bank has been taken with it. So yeah, their root system just goes so far and deep into the ground here. It's quite incredible, and they're just absolutely beautiful trees. I mean, here's one right here beside me. I mean, look at it, it's absolutely stunning. They're just beautiful. I do really think it's a highlight of the River Drive down here in the Kinchega National Park. Absolutely beautiful. So before the national park was established here in 1967, it was part of a huge sheep station that at its peak stretched from Broken Hill down to Menindee. That's about 120 kilometres and covered an area of about 800,000 hectares. So yeah, it was a full-on sheep station, and although it wasn't the biggest woolshed in the district, it could cater for some 64 shearers at any one time working, so it was pretty bloody big. And when it was finally used for the last time back in 1967, 6 million sheep had been shorn here. Alright, it's time for the Menindee Surf Report. You can see there's a few waves rolling in today. There's a stiff nor'easter blowing onshore, so it's a bit of a wind swell. It's a little bit sloppy, but get on down here if you want to catch yourself a couple of waves. Just because we're out caravanning around Australia doesn't mean we can't have the mod cons. So here we are on the banks of the Darling River, about ready to watch the 2024 grand final between the Panthers and the Storm. Right, this morning we're down at the world famous Nellie Agara golf course. Ooh, not bad, not bad. That's straight down the middle.